All right, what's up? We are live. My name is Chad Hassan. This is the A Sea of Red live podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel so that way we can get the algorithms working on our side. Just a side note, about 3 months ago, we had 130 subscribers. We're up to 410. Thank you guys for that. That has been huge. Love the engagement on YouTube and the chat. That's always fun in the comments. So jump on over there. And new camera angle. I don't think so, CT. It might just be my hat. I don't know what's going on, but it is fun to be back. We haven't been doing this for a while. So shout out to producer Nick Kirby. He is always on the spot here, putting these things together. And he's doing this live from his family Christmas in Cincinnati. So we appreciate him. What are we going to get to tonight? We have Kyle DeArmond, main man, legend. He brings such a perspective. He's a fan. He's an alumni. Former coach, former player. I mean, you name it, he can bring the perspective. And the great thing is he can switch back and forth like we can't do that. And he does that so well. Looking forward to talking to him, recapping the season. Let's see who else we got. We got Brendan Schlittler, talking to him. He had a fantastic 2022 campaign. Played most every game, I think every game, and a lot of snaps every game. So he had a good, healthy season. Looking forward to recapping with him some of the big moments we had. Let's see, we got Richie Longshots coming up, giving his picks during the bowl game. You're better off watching his basketball picks, but he's here for entertainment tonight during the football show. And then lastly, we've got John Manson, creator, founder, all things A Sea of Red, the man who give us this platform and built this thing for all of us to kind of share our opinions. And, he's just been pumping out content for 10 years that none of us can live without. I am what you would consider a Sea of Red contributor, and I still have the notifications set for A Sea of Red. I read every single article. I can't get enough of it. It's made being a Liberty fan so much more fun and engaging and just in depth. So thank you, John. We will have him on here in a minute. We'll get to all that stuff with those upcoming guests. Housekeeping. This is our last football show. It's been a wonderful ride this season. Nick and will continue the basketball show throughout the season. We'll come back sometime in the summer and do a couple football preview shows. But we've hit every Tuesday night during the season. Pretty consistently. A lot of shout outs, a lot of thanks goes to, first of all, Todd Wetmore. He's an communications director for the football team. He is top notch, always responds, always helpful. Thank you, Todd, for helping get this together. Let's see who else needs a shout out. Brendan, thank you for coming on every time. Jason Porter Real Estate at gmail.com. Thank you so much, Jason, for helping make this thing possible financially, and then also coming on the show with us pretty regular. Who else needs a shout out on tonight's show? We got a new sponsor, Ironclad Coffee in Richmond. I've been drinking it every morning, and typically I drink 2 cups of coffee with that stuff. I only have one, or I get the jitters. So it is good stuff. Looking forward to stopping there in Richmond and checking those guys out. Thank you to all of our guests. I mean, we've had guests from Stingray to Harry Minium at ODU to Gabe Henderson up in Minnesota, alumni. So looking forward to having many more guests on next year. Thank you to everybody who took the time to join us. And I think that's pretty much all the shout outs. If I forgot somebody, and thank you guys for listening and commenting and being in these shows, we never know which way they're going to go because of the comments. And that's the most fun part for me. We've updated our board. As you can see, it's always hashtag Beat Coastal. It doesn't matter how many of their players come here, how many of their coaching staff come here, even the head man himself. It's always Beat Coastal. And we'll be going that way for life. All right, that is quite the introduction, and let's bring on main man Brendan Schlittler. And while we're watching that video, I'm going to turn my hat around because it's doing something real funky to my bangs here. There he is. What's up, man? Are you in St. Louis? You in Lynchburg? Where are you at?
St. Louis.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
So last time doing this together this season, first of all, just thank you for being so consistent. I never even have to text you anymore. It's just you just show up and you don't get the questions beforehand. You just come on and answer whatever we got. So hey, man, appreciate you being consistent. Speaking of being consistent, congratulations on a healthy season. I know that's part of the biggest part of the battle for some of you guys is just being out there and being on the field every game. Talk to us about the preparation that went in and how fortunate you feel and just how your body feels after an entire season.
Yeah, that's a big attribute to a lot of the resources we have. Previous strength staff and nutrition and the training staff just done a great job, keeping us healthy all year. And especially going into year 5, I made it a big point that had to be the biggest focus because you become an old man and a senior citizen, you can get hurt a lot easier. So this is probably the best I've felt out of the last 3 seasons that I've started. So definitely excited to see what I can do to build on top of that for next season.
Also, congratulations on some of the biggest wins in school history. We had BYU, quickly followed up by Arkansas. I think that we've kind of all in our Mount Rushmore put them up there for different reasons. You had the vision with BYU, but then going on the road and beating a good SEC team in Arkansas, probably the best team we beat. We ended 8-5, which was above the win total that Vegas was predicting. We had a couple of huge wins in our belt with BYU and Arkansas and a few others at the start of the season was a phenomenal. Started 8-1, obviously didn't finish the way that we wanted to or we had hoped to. But overall, I would say from my perspective, from a fan's perspective, a phenomenally successful season with some huge moments to look back on. How do you feel as coming off of an 8-5 season? What's your when you look back? It's pretty recent, but when you look back, 8-5, are you thinking, yeah? I mean, we definitely had our opportunities. Or are you thinking, man, we left a lot out there and kind of disappointed?
I kind of feel in the middle because I think at times in the season we maximized our potential and we pulled out some wins. And I think at some point in the season we didn't do that. So kind of feel on a little bit in between there. Anytime you can beat the Arkansas, the BYU's, I think we played like 6 or 7 teams that went to bowl games this year, which is by far the most we've ever had. A much improved UConn, a much improved New Mexico State. The schedule we thought was going to be the most difficult ever, and it ended up being more difficult than we anticipated at times. But definitely thrilled with how we fought and kept it close for most of the games, and how we finished and found ways to win. Great start to the year, but obviously with what's happened the last month has been disappointing. But at the end of the day, in the eyes of a lot, it was still a great winning season. Made your bowl game, pulled off some big wins, but we definitely left some out there.
You guys are notorious for going to 4 straight bowl games, but having a lot of fun at each bowl game. I've heard so many stories from the coaching staff, from players, from fans about their amazing experience at each bowl game. Uh, one, uh, is that kind of a focus for the coaching staff so far? And did you guys have a good time in Boca? I mean, despite the game outcome, but from Thursday to Monday night, Tuesday morning, whatever it was, did you guys end up enjoying yourselves down there?
Yeah, we had a great time. That was probably the best site that we've had the last 4 years. Um, it's always cool because when we fly to the bowl games, the whole team goes, and wherever you go, it's somebody's first to do something. So sometimes it's somebody's first time to fly, sometimes it's their first time at the beach, and to be able to experience that with those guys is always awesome. And they put on events every single day that we go to, and you know, just talk and play games and stuff and compete. So that was an awesome trip. I think the coaching staff did a great job at finding the happy medium between having your fun and enjoying what you deserve, but at the same time, when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock in. So they prepared us the best they could, and I thought the rest was up to us.
Talk to me a little bit about the new coaching staff, Coach Chadwell in particular. You guys had a team meeting with him. I'm sure you've had a couple of other conversations with him. And what are your initial takeaways? You got one more year to be with him as your head coach. You've had a lot of turnover at your position group coaches, but just talk to me about Chadwell. What are your initial thoughts? What is something as we as fans would need to know about our new head coach?
He seems super humble. He's a real genuine guy. He's just like one of us. You can talk anything with him. So he's been very evident. Ask him questions. He'll tell you why we're doing everything, and that's how you earn our trust right away, and that's how you get buy-in. So he's already met with the whole team, and he's met with every single position group individually. And I'm sure some guys have had conversations with him already over the phone. He's super personable, and he has laid out a great plan to do, to create success at Liberty and add on to what he's done at his previous stops. So I'm super excited to buy in for my last year and see what we can do with him.
All right, I'm gonna get this last. Actually, I'm gonna toss this over to you, RT Rogers. Talk to us a little bit about RT Rogers, who they are, and their faithful, loyal support of this segment all season long.
I don't got my hat with me, but RT Rogers is owned and operated by Greg Rogers, Liberty alum. They're an energy distribution center in West Virginia, and they deliver to 6 different states, regardless of the fuel needs. They bring the best quality fuel and exceptional service right to your door. I know right now there's a lot of people calling them with the weather going on. So they're busy, but make them more busy if you need some help. So
Yeah. Hey, they have Greg. Thank you very much, Jacob, Jake Vanneman, and all the guys over there at RT Rogers. Really appreciate you guys and all the hard work you're doing this winter to keep people warm. And last one I got for you here is, man, this is my last football podcast of the year. And to be honest with you, I kind of check out. I go on this huge debrief. I want to call it a sabbatical, a debrief, just like, man, I'm ready for basketball. I kind of watch the bowl games half-heartedly, but I go a couple weeks where I just try not to look or read. This year's going to be different because of the coaching changes, but I try to go a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, without just even thinking about Liberty football. And it's just because we, as a fan, as somebody who's doing this show and kind of engaged in it, I just need a break. So I know that if I need that, you as a player, you're back in St. Louis, you just got back from home from Boca. You got a lot of family in, and you're catching up on family time that you haven't had since, I don't know, August. What is your mindset for this next month or two? Is it the same way? Do you kind of just like, man, do you exhale big time? Like, whew, that's over. Put everything I had into it. I need to reset for next year, kind of thing. Talk to us about that process that you go through over this next month or two.
yeah, the season's super long, and to bring your best every single day, it is mentally exhausting for that many weeks. So for usually the first couple weeks after the bowl game, I still work out a little bit, make sure I don't get, totally out of shape. And then mentally, I don't really try to think of football that much for a few weeks. But once that second week of January rolls around and we're about to head back to campus, that's when you got to click it back on because the winter workouts start. But mentally, it's not as hard in the winter because you're not studying all the film and watching games and stuff. So you get a little bit of a mental break until you start spring ball, especially when we're going to start a new offense. So, but that mental side is big. I'm going to definitely recharge over the next couple weeks and come out hot with spring workouts. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Since it's only 7:45 out there in St. Louis, I'm going to sneak in one extra bonus question here for you, and that is about your senior year coming up here. Talk to me a little bit about your feelings of like, man, you get one more shot at this, you get one more year. You know, I've been watching the portal every day. I haven't seen your name in the portal, but at the same time, I'm like, you got one more year. Just talk to me about just your mental. Where are you at mentally right now with like, man, I've done this for so long. Are you excited about one more year? Are you like, man, let me go ahead and get this year over with so I can start my post college career. I know it's a grind, man. So where are you at mentally right now? And looking for, what is your mindset? What are you going to try to get your mindset to headed into your last year? And with that, man, I'm really going to miss seeing your mom and dad at games. I know we still got a whole nother year, but I'm going to miss seeing your family and everybody at games. So I'm mentally kind of prepping for my last year. Are you going to just kind of try to take in all the sights and sounds and just embrace it all? Or what's your kind of total mindset going into this final year? Have you not figured that out yet?
I think the word that I have in my mind is going to be intentional. So I'm going to be as intentional as possible with helping the young guys and leaving the legacy that so many before me left. And I feel very blessed to have another year, to stay and to buy into a new culture and to learn from new people. And, that's always it stinks to change, but at the same time, to have a whole new group of grown, great Christian men to learn from is a blessing. So I'm just going to be as intentional as possible with, how I go about myself every single day and soak up every single minute I have. Because, you think you have so much time here and you have 6 years of eligibility and you just kind of accept the fact you're here for so long. And then you see your best buds go like Cooper McCall and those guys, and it kind of puts reality in your lap. So, but again, I'm just going to do my best to give it all I got for one more year and leave the legacy that, the guys before me left.
All right, we got one more. Sorry. This came in the chat. Hey, 55, how difficult is it to learn a new offense with a new coach? You talked a little bit about just bringing in the new culture and everything's going to be new for you next year. That's kind of got to be refreshing. Coastal's offense, I was watching a little bit tonight and just I've watched several games of their season. They run I don't know, a pass triple option. I don't even know what to call it. What is your job going to be like different? Just like initially looking at it, is your job going to be totally different or is it going to be similar?
I think a lot of the stuff as an offensive line is very similar. I think it's more the skill players on the perimeter as far as how they distribute the ball out there with the option. But I expect it's not going to be too difficult to learn a new offense, specifically because a lot of teams run the same stuff. It's just coded and named differently. And anytime there's fancy wrinkles in the game plan and on different offenses, it's usually the quarterback, receivers, and running backs, and not the offensive line. So I think it'd probably be easiest for us to learn a new offense as opposed to the new guys. I know the quarterbacks and all the skill guys are going to have to learn how to pitch it a lot better and, deal with that option game on the perimeter. But I think for us, it'll be a smooth transition. And we have a lot of old guys in our group still. I think we have like 6 returning 6 years. So I think just all the football we've played and knowing what we know, it should be very smooth.
Hey, very good stuff, man. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I got close to tears there. The next year, our last episode, I'm gonna have to like pass it off to somebody else. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. Did want to shout out again, your mom is a saint. She babysat me and your dad and others on the bowl trip. Your mom is a wonderful woman. She's a saint.
Yes, she is.
Enjoyed having coffee with her. I guess it was probably Tuesday morning or something like that. But hey, man, appreciate all you do. And you're the man coming on here every week and just giving solid answers and giving us some insight. Next year, we're going to turn loose a little bit. It's your senior year. You got nothing to lose. New coaching staff, we're going to turn loose a little bit and quit with so much of the coach speak. How about that?
Let's roll.
Hey, let's get it. All right. Hey, man, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Enjoy
Christmas.
the rest of your holiday, and we'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, hey, everybody.
All
My
right,
name is Jason Porter. I'm with Legacy Realty and Development, and it's been a great partnership here with Sea of Red lately. I was with Liberty Athletics as the Associate Athletic Director for Sports Medicine, so took care of all of the healthcare needs and coordinated that with a fantastic staff at Liberty in the athletic department, of course, for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved into real estate full time and with Legacy Realty and Development. And it's just been a great pleasure to continue to stay connected with my Liberty University family and the athletics family as well. Been enjoying serving them. A lot of the graduate assistants and some of the staff that I hired has come back now and has been using me for residential services, which I really appreciate. But certainly do residential real estate as far as buying and selling of homes, of course. And then also we have a strong commercial presence as well. So commercial real estate, obviously a very, very different animal than is residential. But whether it's buying and selling commercial properties or just the leasing of properties, we can help with that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to service our commercial clients as well. And then certainly on the investment front too, a number of folks who have discovered the power of passive income through real estate and investing in real estate with rental properties or fix and flips, those kind of things. And so great joy to serve my clients in that capacity as well. The other thing that I would add too is just a very, very full Rolodex at this point of contractors and subs and just different professional contacts that I've made through the years. So if I can ever provide any of those folks to you and all of a sudden you need a plumber or an electrician or a contractor to build your deck, whatever, I'd certainly be glad to give you access to that Rolodex and those references as well. Because a lot of times it's not exactly who you know, it's who you know that knows how to do the job well. And so I would be glad to provide those services for you as well. So love Flames Nation, love taking care of my Liberty family. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, my contact information is all right here on the screen. And I would love to be a service to you and yours. Thanks so much.
All right. We have with us Kyle DeArmond. I got to get you a new title. I got a good one worked out for John. Yours is going to sound something like this next season. All right. We have with us former player, student, coach, and fan. I don't know. I got to work it out. But here's
a lot of things.
Yeah, it's a lot of things for sure.
Yeah.
Main man, Kyle DeArmond. Kyle, thanks for joining us. I want to get your perspective, honestly, on the 8-5 season. Or do you leave with a bad taste in your mouth because we dropped off so bad at the end? Do you say, hey, you know what? We got some great wins. When you step back and try to look at this thing with a macro lens, rather, what are your thoughts on 8-5?
I mean, I think it's disappointing, obviously, because you think about the big wins that we had and thinking that we should have, beat UConn, beat New Mexico State, finished 10-3 at the worst. And then, 10-3 at the worst, and then go into the bowl game, possibly get win number 11, I guess. But I mean, we got to a bowl game, 4 straight bowl game. There's positives. I think being an independent, the goal is to get to a bowl game every single year, and we did that. So, I think that there's positives to look at it for sure. I think the last couple of weeks were tough. The last regular season game, New Mexico State, that was tough. I mean, probably for the coaches and the players, just because everything that happened with the freeze stuff with Auburn. But it's dead and gone, and we got to a bowl game, didn't win our 4th, which is disappointing and upsetting. And I think that's what it should be for Flame fans. Like, it needs to be a thing where we are upset when we get to the bowl game, we don't win it, when we don't finish the season out strong. It's tough, but I'm very proud of the guys and how they push through. And, you see now, I mean, watching, the Coastal ECU game, 2 of their best defenders, one's a team captain, opts out for this bowl game to train for the NFL draft. We didn't have that. You think about the 2 guys who most likely will get drafted, Darrell and Pop, Demario Douglas, and they both played. And so I think there's a lot of positives to look at for this season.
All right, here's the comment: 3-0 with a head coach. I think I'm going to go with this for a while, and that is, as long as we have a head coach, we're 3-0 in bowl games. All right, I got to get your thoughts on something else, Kyle, and that is what's right here behind me on my board. Let me move out of the way. It says beat Coastal. Talk to me about Jamie Chadwell, this guy that you coached against in the Cure Bowl in 2020. We've always been preaching beat Coastal since, I don't know, 2008, something around there. And it's just been a heated. I mean, I can't stand Coastal. Honestly, watching them on TV tonight, I just get the heebie-jeebies. Just like, man, I can't stand that teal. What is that? A beach chicken? All that stuff. And now we're gonna welcome their leader into the fold.
I know. He is no longer one of them. His most recent paycheck, which was probably pretty nice, about 4 times the amount that he's used to seeing on those paychecks, says Liberty University on it. So
I know, but staff and everything, it feels like,
all
right.
Whoa.
Do you have any problems? That's all I'm asking. That's the question. Do you have any problems with Coastal being in our building and it's like, ugh? Or is it like, no, hey, fresh start. This is a man who come here, and that's my question to you is like, all right, how hard was it to get over hey man, that's an enemy behind enemy lines type thing? Or is it just like, hey, no, that's our new coach? I need it from your perspective.
I mean, I think that
you didn't have any of it. You didn't have any of that. It's Coastal.
No, I mean, I definitely initially had that before. I mean, I think we can rewind the tape and go back to look at, our emergency pod that we had. And I think I said something like, no, do not want him. But I started to warm up, started to, get the loving feeling back in again. And I was like, all right, this guy can coach some ball. And especially once I heard, the players' reactions to his first team meeting, I'm pumped about it. I think he's going to do a great job for the program. And, we just got to trust that anybody that he brings from Coastal, he feels like is going to help us get to the college football playoff. And that's ultimately what he has said. He said in his press conference, he said that to everybody. So he's not just going to bring every single person just because he is loyal to people and that's what he does. I mean, he did it when he went from Charleston Southern to Coastal. That was the only thing that kind of had me worried was like, are you going to kind of go out of your, branch of people that but man, in the coaching world, I think you lean towards loyalty a lot because those are the guys that know you and that and your families know each other and you kind of know what that guy will do for you to help win and help continue to push the program forward. So I do get that. He's not going to go out and just hire a bunch of just random people that he's never coached with. There's going to be some type of connection. So I think he's going to put together a great staff, whether it's guys from Coastal or not. You just got to trust that he has the program's best interest in mind. And I think that he will. I think that he will do that. So it's
Agreed.
all right. I'm good. I feel good about it now. I'm better. I'm all beat Coastal still, but now it's just Tim Beck and whatever goons he hires down there to coach them now. So it doesn't matter if they went to Coastal, graduated from there. Once you step on campus, you become a Liberty Flame, and I'm backing you. We have
one exception. One exception. What? If we break any cinder blocks anywhere, I'm out. We're not doing that. All right. If you're watching this, Jamie, you probably don't know who we are yet, and you probably won't know who we are for like 5 or 6 years, and that's okay. But listen, if you start breaking cinder blocks, we're gonna be right up in your DMs saying, "Hey, none of that here." But if it works, if we're winning games,
yeah, whatever helps win games. If it's cinder blocks,
that's right.
Break them.
Yeah, John and I have been talking a lot about this, and we'll bring him on here in a minute. But in the end, whoever our head coach is in basketball and football and whatever sport, as long as we're getting wins, quality bowl games, NCAA tournament berths, it doesn't matter. Let's just get the wins. Let's get there as fans. That's what we're going to look back on. All right. Last question before we bring in John here. And I want to know from your perspective, let's give Coach Aldridge, who went to Auburn to be their linebacker coach, a great opportunity for him. He's going to make a lot of money. He's going to have a good opportunity to be in the SEC and Really happy for him. Honestly, would love to have had him here, but man, when you start talking about like jobs and opportunities, he wasn't tied to this, but he's only been here for 4 years and he just took the best job possible. Excited for him and his family. But let's give him a grade. Let's talk about how did he do as an interim coach? Did he have the guys ready to play? What was your sense from everybody involved in the program to the players? You were in Boca. You saw how the team was came out. Were they ready to play? How did he do as an interim head coach? Let's give him a grade.
I think that you got to give him a B plus. I mean,
Yeah.
even an A minus. I mean, the only thing that would make it an A plus is if we won, because if you think about it, like I've already said, like Durrell and Demario both played. We didn't have any guys opt out. There were some guys that transferred, obviously, and those guys didn't play. Some guys that were in the transfer portal, Dre Butler being one, that did play and, played hard. So, excuse me. So for Josh to get those guys to play that hard, unbelievable job. I mean, that's so hard to do, especially now in the transfer portal day and time when guys can just jump in the portal and go take visits and start talking to coaches, to keep them focused. It honestly just looked like a normal 2022 Liberty football game. Like defense held them, offense struggled. Like it looked exactly the same. It did not even look like Hugh Freeze wasn't there, because we struggled on offense a little bit. We scored early. We could move the ball, missed a field goal. I mean, it just kind of looked like a normal game for us. So I think Josh did a great job. I think Coach K did a great job. And I'm happy for Coach Aldridge and his family. And I would have loved to seen him stay, but totally get the opportunity. I mean, just 4 years ago, he was a Division II position coach, and now he's a Power 5 linebacker position coach at one of the top schools in the country. So
yeah,
I'm stoked for him, but I would say B plus for
totally.
sure. I mean, I thought he did a great job.
Totally agree. The team came out ready to play. You didn't see any of the negative energy. Brendan just told us they had a great time at the bowl game. Seemed like everybody had, I mean, all but win. And that is
you got to think too, like it's so hard for those guys because, most of them don't know what's like, are they going to get to go to Auburn as a position coach? Like they have to start looking for other jobs. And, if Chadwell's already told them like, hey, I'm not going to retain you. You've done a great job. They have to start looking for other jobs. So you are thinking about other things the entire time that you're trying to prep for this game. So for Josh to like be able to focus and get everybody focused, and he mixed it up. I mean, the guys wore their Sunday's best on the plane.
like
and it's all those pictures. I mean, it was so awesome. They just had a blast, and I think that he did a great job with it. So
yeah,
I think we should all be very grateful for how he handled and took over the program for the time that he had it.
Yep, B plus. I'm with you on that. Maybe even A minus. I don't know if I can give him an A without winning the game, but B plus. Did everything he could. Great job, Coach Aldridge. Nothing but the best for you and everybody else that goes down to Auburn. I mean, Freeze is going to be loyal to his guys. That whole coaching staff. Everybody's going to have an opportunity down there. Good luck down there. I'm going to be clapping for you. But
yeah, and I think that they'll be cheering for Liberty too. I think that Lynchburg and Liberty made an impact on all of them. It's funny. I know we're going to move on, not talk about Coach Freeze anymore, but in his press conference on Wednesday for signing day, he was like, all right, well, I'm going to leave here and go home. And then he was like, he kind of like stopped himself and was like, home. I mean, like, back where our house is currently. So he did call Lynchburg home.
Yeah, no, he was in Lynchburg. He spent the holidays here, went to Thomas Road, all that good stuff. And man, nothing but the best for Hugh Freeze and that staff down there at Auburn. But it is time to turn the page, and we're here to promote Liberty and Liberty Flames, and that's Coach Chadwell, and we're gonna get it. All right. Speaking of that, the man who, well, we'll just ask him about it. How about that? let's bring on John Manson and get his thoughts on everything that's going on. The founder, creator, all things A Sea of Red, John Manson. There he is. There he is. John Manson, what's up, man? Creator, founder, all things Sea of Red. Oh, also my good friend. I forgot to add that into the title. John, you're on mute.
John, come on. Yeah, you're muted here.
Is that on producer Nick or is that on
That's
John?
on me. Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. Oh man, John. So I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Kyle. Kyle, you can be thinking of your question for John here, but I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked Kyle. 8-5. It's a little bit better than Vegas predicted. We started 8-1. As you have looked back on the season over the last few days, disappointment, success, somewhere in the middle, don't know yet, haven't formulated your opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I've been listening to you guys, and I agree with both Kyle and Brendan what they said. And kind of in the middle. I mean, to get to 8-1 and have those wins over BYU and Arkansas, that's not something anybody will ever be able to take away from us, this team, this program. Those are a lot of really good moments, and to win 8 games. Back before the season started, I picked us to be 8-4 this year. So to get to 8-4. Regardless of how we ended up there, was a solid season. Wins over BYU and Arkansas, like I said, are flagship type wins for the program, and we'll always have those. But yeah, the way it kind of ended, it really hurts. It stings. To lose to UConn, Virginia Tech, and New Mexico State, and then in the bowl game, all games that we could have and maybe should have won. Is certainly disappointing. And I was right there with Kyle. After 8-1, you're sitting there, start counting your wins up, and like, man, we can get to 9, 10, 11 wins. And I've learned to not do that before, because I did that after we beat Baylor back in 2017. I was sitting there looking at the schedule like, man, Jacksonville State's the only team that's going to have a chance to beat us this year. So and then that didn't happen. I think we ended up 6-6 that year. So. I've learned to not count wins, but yet at the same time, here I was 8-1, starting to count wins. But all in all, looking back on it, it's a successful season. Disappointing end to the year, but at the same time, ready for this new chapter and this new era under Coach Chadwell.
John, what do you think about I know that today you tweeted out that rumor is Tony Washington from West Virginia is coming as the wide receivers coach. What does that say about Liberty, where a guy would come from a Power 5 school like West Virginia? What does it say about Liberty, and what does it say about Chadwell, I guess, where he says, hey, I'm at the Power 5 level. I'm going to go to Liberty, which people may say, why are you stepping down to Group of 5 to go back with Chadwell to try to help us win Conference USA championships?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, you look at that, and it starts with Chadwell coming here. A lot of people were like, when we were first talking about the job opening after Freeze left, and Chadwell was being mentioned, a lot of people were like, are you sure that's a step down, or it's a lateral move at best, and things like that. But I think Liberty's proven through this coaching cycle and through the past few years that it is a premier G5 program in the country, and to be able to get Chadwell speaks to that. And then Coach Washington, a wide receivers coach at West Virginia, that adds to it. But I think it's a couple things that play there as well, too. I mean, yeah, he's coming from West Virginia to here, but he has a past with Coach Chadwell, having coached with him at Coastal for 2 years. So, you never know how those dynamics are working with him, with Coach Brown up at WVU, and maybe he just thought a change of scenery would be good for him. And plus, Coach Brown's got a lot of heat going on up there this year. There was rumors of him getting fired this past season. So maybe he thought coming here and jumping off a sinking ship would be best for him and his future career. He's still a young guy. I mean, he's Coach Washington is. I mean, he's just a few years removed from the NFL, and he's got a long ways to go. So if he can jump on board here at Liberty and have a successful run these next, however many years, and it can launch his career further than what he's already been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that I know that Tony Washington is good friends with Mike Brown, Liberty alumni. So I'm sure that he reached out to him and asked him, what it was like in Lynchburg and got all the good feedback. But what are the other names? Any other names that you're hearing for potential guys to join the staff at Liberty under Chadwell?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to get some Coastal guys. I mean, to have 10 on-field assistants coming in, you're going to obviously get a few. I think we'll see 4 or 5 or 6 of those guys roughly, mainly on the offensive side of the ball. And they're playing right now, so second half of the game has probably just started. I was watching it a minute ago, but I think you'll see Willie Korn come in probably as a quarterbacks coach, co-offensive coordinator. There's a few other guys. Their defensive line coach, Skylar McGee, is another one that has been rumored to be coming here. So I think you see a few guys from Coastal. I'd love to see at least one guy stay on from Liberty staff. I mean, I know a lot of them have already moved on or their slots already been filled, but maybe like a Jack Curtis, the safeties coach, if he's a guy that could stay on, that'd be great just for some continuity. And I'm really intrigued to see who the defensive coordinator is going to be. I mean, we were hoping and kind of praying that it'd be Aldridge, and then obviously that didn't happen. And will it be Curtis? Could he slide in that slot? Could it be somebody from outside? Or does Kyle DeArmond come back on staff? Like, that question is right there. That's a great question.
As defensive coordinator, I don't know. I could do it. I'm all in. But no, I will put the rumors to bed here on the show tonight. I am not returning to the coaching staff. I'm sorry to everyone. Very sad night.
At least not yet.
All right, John, can you hear me, by the way?
I got you.
All right. I got a question about your awards that you gave out for the season. Day offensive MVP didn't play the last 5 games of the year, 4 games of the year. John, will an offensive lineman ever win that award? I'm asking for a friend. I'm not saying that anybody text me, but will an offensive lineman ever be eligible for the A Sea of Red Offensive Player of the Year award?
Has a offensive lineman ever won NFL MVP or Conference Player of the Year in any Division I conference you've ever seen?
No.
Probably not. Now, no offense to Brendan or any other lineman.
Brendan did text me, but just for the record.
Yeah, no offense to him or anybody else. I mean, I'm sure there's been times they should probably be included in that list. But, I mean, honestly, and going back through those awards, I was trying to come up with an award, make up an award for DeMario because he didn't get any award. And as good as he is, and as great of a player as he is, and as big of a production that he had to the team this year, it felt like I was cheating him from not having him in some type of award. But Day kind of got the nod because, I mean, we were 8-1 with him on the field. And then, the 4 games he was out, we were 0-4. Now, that doesn't mean, if he was playing that we would have won all 4 of those games or even won a couple of them. But I think we probably beat UConn with Day in the lineup. And, I think we could probably squeak out one of the other 2 as well. But you never know. I think Day definitely deserved it. And but yeah, I don't think you'll ever see a lineman get it. But you did have Xavier Gatlin got the newcomer of the year on the offense. So shout out to the lineman there.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't think that. I agree with you 100% on Day winning MVP. When you look at our offensive production when he went down, I mean, it's so hard as a play caller once a guy like that gets hurt because you naturally don't when it's a guy like Day who is a baller, you feel comfortable really calling a run play on second and short, third and short, or whatever. And the defense obviously has to react to that. When you don't have that guy, they don't necessarily have to think about him very much, and it changes your mindset as a play caller too. So, yeah, I think Day is obviously. I think he was a great for us, MVP for sure. I think DeMario was most dynamic. I mean, when he touched the ball, you just didn't know what was going to happen. But man, I think it was a great season by Day.
So you gave Day offensive MVP, Durrell defensive MVP, special teams MVP. Aiden Alves had a great season. Alves, I've heard it said both ways. Xavier Gadlin, offensive newcomer of the year, and then defensive newcomer of the year, Mike Smith Jr. The one that I had a question about, and I thought you get, I don't know. I'm going to get your thoughts on this. All of those seem pretty easy. The one that I maybe had a question about was most improved, and you gave that to Kendi Charles. Had a phenomenal season. Did okay last year as well. Were there any other candidates, or were there any other categories that were maybe a little difficult to decide? All those seem like shoe-ins for me. I agree totally. Was there any other category that was maybe up for debate, and was it the most improved?
Yeah, most improved was one of them. Defensive MVP was difficult too, and if I did have that newcomer defense of the year to give out as well, because Mike Smith really could have won that. I mean, Darrell Johnson had just an amazing year, and if you look at his TFL and sack numbers, he set program records for TFLs in a regular season, and it was quite the season he had. But Mike Smith was right there as well too. I mean, he had an amazing year, led the team in tackles, and it seems like Liberty's just been able to do that the last 3 or 4 years under Coach Freeze, Coach Simons, and Coach Aldridge on the defensive side. Just constantly bring in defensive or linebackers that slide in, seamlessly. But yeah, I mean, Kendi Charles kind of, and I think I even wrote it in the description there a little bit, kind of seemed like cheating to put him in there as most improved, because it's not like he did improve, but he was good last year too. He just had more playing time this year and was able to showcase his abilities a little bit more. But he's a stud. I felt like Dennis Asagade probably deserved to be on there somewhere, because he was a really good player, and he pushed Mike Smith for that newcomer of the year on the defensive side of the ball. But then also rookie of the year. I mean, and that speaks to, really the depth that has been built on this roster. Is it used to be, that went to Brylan Green, as you see there, but it used to be, even last year, there were several guys that you could choose between that had solid contributions. But this year, there really weren't a ton of true freshmen. We had some redshirt freshmen that played significant snaps, but there weren't a ton of true freshmen that got on the field frequently enough to be included in that for that award. And Brylan might have been the only one as a true freshman that played every single game this year. So that just speaks to the depth of the team.
Okay. Last question before we bring in Richie Longshots. And that is, first of all, yes, most improved could have gone to a couple of others. Kendi, well deserving. But the question is about that freshman, Brylan Green, being the only one getting playing time. John, what were your thoughts about Coach Chadwell's comments during his press conference about building with high schoolers versus the portal? He said he was going to plug in, needs and talent in the portal. That's totally different than what it felt like the previous coaching staff had in mind. What were your thoughts about Coach Chadwell's comments? And do you think that's the right approach at Liberty? What have you seen be successful? Did you take it to be that he really is going to try to recruit and build with high schoolers? And just what's your thoughts on those comments?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Freeze has had tremendous success with the portal, being able to grab guys that could plug and play. Like I mentioned, that linebacker the past few years. You've had several others. I mean, Skylar Thomas, safety, that was really good for the Flames last year, and pretty much all over the roster. He's been able to go in Day, TJ Green last year at running back. I mean, it's nonstop list of guys from the portal that Freeze was able to use and throw in there, and they immediately contributed. Xavier Gadlin, another one. And I think at the same time, he also liked to recruit the high school kids too, because I mean, if you bring in, used to be the rule was you could have no more than 25 new scholarship players to your roster in any given signing class, and used to be 12 to 17, somewhere in that range the last couple of years would be high school guys that Freeze was bringing in. And if you look at the makeup so far this year, it looks like you're going to have about the same amount. I think we're at 13 or 14 high school signees, and you probably add a handful more in the February signing period. But I think Coach Chadwell is really targeting lots of guys in the portal. He said he wants to get a quarterback. He wants to get a running back. And Quentin Cooley is a guy from Wake Forest that's going to come in and be able to kind of fill in some of the loss there from TJ Green leaving, and then also Day coming back from injury. So I think you'll still see a good mix, where you'll see him go out and find, what he hopes are the right fits to plug and play at certain spots where we need a plug immediately, somebody that can come in and play immediately and fill out the roster, because the portal gives and takes away, right? I mean, you have guys like Ahmad Walker that you lose as a linebacker who was a starter and probably was going to be counted on the next couple of years to kind of solidify that spot. Now all of a sudden you got that hole, you need to go fill that in. And you heard Coach Chadwell talk about wanting to bring in a linebacker through the portal. And that type of stuff happens. DeMario leaving early, going to the league, now you need to go out and get a receiver. So I think you'll always have the need to add some guys out of the portal, but I think Coach Chadwell also, still, like that foundation through high school guys.
All right, John, I kind of agree that, we'll see how it goes. Chadwell, hopefully, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Freeze was basically saying that his first year here, or maybe 2 years, he was saying that this place recruited better than he gave it credit for. And he said, we basically committed to guys who, basically he recruited. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He recruited. He didn't recruit as well. Kyle, take over here. What do you got?
I'll help you out here, Chad. When we were recruiting high school guys, we were really recruiting Liberty fits and guys that wanted to be here. And I think that it was very different for Freeze to kind of see that coming from Ole Miss and not really having to recruit to a specific type of person. So I think for Liberty and for Chadwell, he's going to have to recruit guys that fit at Liberty. It's obviously a lot different than when any of us went to school there. And it continues to kind of just grow, I would say. And so I think it's not as hard to recruit people to Liberty anymore because of certain things have changed. But I think Liberty is definitely a place where you have to get people on campus. Once you get them on campus, then your chance of signing them skyrockets because of our facilities and our people really makes a difference. Is that what you're going to say, Chad?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. All right, let's bring in Richie Longshots before I talk myself into a Bolivian over here. So let's first of all, let's hit the Ironclad commercial, and then let's check producer Nick's skills here to get us straight from that commercial over into Richie Longshots. It's not an easy transition for those of you watching on YouTube, but here we're going to put producer Nick right on blast here.
Virginia's best and most flames-friendly coffee comes from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Ironclad Roasters serves up their beautiful beans at 2 cafes in Richmond, so you can enjoy their crafted roasted specialty beans from anywhere in the country by visiting www.ironcladcoffee.com. Place your order there, and it'll be roasted to your order and shipped out directly to your doorstep.
Whenever you find yourself in the Commonwealth, pay them a visit at their 2 cafes in the Richmond area. Ironclad's owners, the O'Rourke family, are proud Flames Club members and are pleased to sponsor these podcasts by Sea of Red. Hop on over to their website at www.ironcladcoffee.com now to get Virginia's best specialty coffee headed your way.
Oh man, there he is. Let's bring in Kyle also. Let's have all 4. All right, Richie, we're just gonna fire shots at you. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, the Boca Boys. We got more than one half of the Boca Boys back together.
Great
again.
Great trip.
Awesome trip.
Man, that was so fun. I have been monitoring social media, just checking like all the pictures you guys are posting, just to like make sure that my reputation in the community isn't going to be tanked by some like erroneous picture posted.
It would have had to have been photoshopped, Chad.
Yeah, it would definitely had to have been photoshopped. Nick, phenomenal transition there. You almost nailed it. All right, Richie, we're glad to hear. What are you rocking tonight? Honestly,
Richie, how do you feel? How do you feel about the over? Is the over still dead?
No, back alive. All-time reverse jinx by me on the bird. Just some fishy stuff going on early. We're at 52 points right now, and I need 66 or 67, and I think they're calling DPI right here. I'm on a slight delay because I'm streaming. I'm in my office. And so I think, they're going to call that DPI. So, no, I'm feeling good.
What do you think about Coastal Carolina's defense?
I don't love defenses in bowl games. It is what it is.
I mean, what do you think about their defense? Yes or no?
ECU's got a really good offense, so I have no comment. ECU's got a great offense. Look, week 1 they played Carolina. It was a great game. Austin, how much debt am I in? I'm not in debt.
All right. So here's what I want to say. First of all, very nice Malik jersey. If you could show that off. Man, that is so nice. Second thing I want to say is you're having a decent hair night, not your best hair night.
It's decent.
Third thing I want to say is, man, it was so good meeting you and hanging out in Boca Raton with everyone. This guy is a straight up legend. Me, John, and Kyle were just kind of like standing over at the tent, just like by ourselves, eating some barbecue, hanging out. Mike Hagan came over, said hello. Richie was out shaking every hand. Everybody was coming up to him saying, "Hey, man, love your stuff. And he was just like, he's such a celebrity. Really, I mean, it was humbling, to be honest with you.
One of my best stories from from Boca with Richie was Richie came up to me at it was after the pep rally when we were over at that restaurant hanging out, watching the basketball game. Richie came up to me, John, can you introduce me to Ian? So I take him over to Ian and introduce him. And Ian's like, you don't need to introduce yourself. I know who you are. You're great. You're a legend. I was like, man, this dude literally is a legend.
That's great.
It was super cool just to, get out there. So much interaction on Twitter and through the chat here to get to meet so many people face to face was awesome. Getting to meet Ian, getting to meet Hagan. I did tell Hagan that if Liberty won, I'd join the Flames Club. So tough break, bud. We'll have to think about it next year. We got to meet the mayor of Boca multiple times. That was a cool experience. So it was just a laundry list of people the entire trip. So definitely an awesome experience, an awesome time just getting to hang out face to face, all of us. We really just spent legit the entire weekend with our entire group. Shout out to Sam, shout out to CT, and shout out to Zeke, not on with us live right now, but making up the rest of the Boca Boy crew. We legit spent from the time my plane landed, I walked out of the airport, and they were right there waiting for me. I was hoping we were going to get a little sign like Richie long shots like they do in movies, but I'll take the pull-up service. And once I got in that SUV John had, we were together the whole trip. It was awesome.
All right, before we get into your picks, this comes straight from Turtle Man, and I need to know, please, no Stags. Coastal does not want him back in the worst way. Guys, are you give me a thumbs up. You don't have to give like a whole answer here unless you just want to. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up being like you think Stags is coming. Thumbs down being like, I'm leaning that he's probably not coming.
I plead the fifth.
Kyle's in the middle. John's not
I'm
saying.
in the middle.
Oh no, I'm the only one that thumbs down.
I'm a lean down. I'm like
lean down. If it happens, guess what? If it happens, I'm gonna be the first one on campus welcoming him with a big hug and being like, "Hey, dude, change your defense. Let's get something that works." But honestly, I don't know if you guys saw the tweets, but defensive efficiency has been on point down there at Coastal. All All right, Richie, this is your
What does
segment.
that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Defensive-
What does that mean?
I could barely say it, so I don't know what it means. I don't want him, but if he comes, I'll welcome him. Kind of similar to Chadwell.
So somebody wants him?
Oh man, I don't know. All right, Richie,
Okay,
what are your
next.
picks for the bowl games? We're gonna give the full screen to Richie. Take us through these bowl games here for just like, I don't know your record time, but let's get it.
Well, we'll try to match it. So right off the bat, you can see my graphic, piss poor. Not what producer Nick does, because that's because he didn't do it. I did. So I was copying and pasting stuff from the Action Network. Not ideal. 34-36. Last time you saw me, I was 33-36. That's because I counted Liberty plus 2.5, 3.5, whatever it was, as a win in my book, because I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. 5 games the rest of the way. I've been doing 5 games, avoiding the playoff games like the plague, because I think they are all coin flips. I have no idea what's going to happen. None of the teams, I think, are locks to win, and they really could go any which way. First up, Thursday night, Florida State, Oklahoma minus 9.5. I'm not doing any games Wednesday because I'm going up to Newark to the Devils game. So if you're the praying type, pray for me when I'm in Newark tomorrow night. So Florida State minus 9.5 against Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma, they are dead where they lie. They have no interest in playing in this bowl game. Florida State has been a sneaky team all year from their win week 1 against LSU, and I think they just roll in this bowl game. Next up, Friday, 2 p.m., UCLA minus 5.5 against Pitt. I think Pitt stinks. Just something about Pitt. Always hated them, and UCLA's been hot all year. Chip Kelly, I don't know what his record in bowl games is, but I imagine it's good. I don't know. I'm going to assume it's good. I'm rolling with it. South Carolina plus 2.5. Notre Dame stinks. I think they're in a big time situation where they might have made a bad hire last year in their bowl game. I only remember this because I had money on the game. They played Oklahoma State. They were up like 24 points, blew the lead, lost the game. Yes, Kyle. Muted.
You're on mute.
Oh, nothing. I was just saying hi to yeah, hi. I was saying hi.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I was
Carry
keep
on,
going.
Richie. That does not count. That does not count against your time. Keep going.
Neither does my communion break. South Carolina, sneaky good closing late. Beat Clemson, big win over Tennessee. They're feeling themselves. Beamer was a great hire. I was very suspicious of it, but that turned out to be the right choice, and I think that they are treating this game like it is their Super Bowl. I don't care that they just beat Clemson and that was their Super Bowl. They're an opportunity to end the year beating Clemson and beating Notre Dame. I mean, you don't get that opportunity often. So the fact that they're getting points, I will absolutely take that. Next up, we're on to the New Year's Eve games. I have a wedding Friday night, which is why I'm not touching any of the Friday night games. So we're on to Saturday morning at 12 p.m. when I'm sure I will be super spry without any issues at all. And at that point, I'm just going to want to take the over. Bama, Kansas State, Bryce Young is playing. K-State is coming off, these players. Sorry, I'm looking up at the ECU Coastal game, another flag. These players at Kansas State never in a million years thought they'd be playing against Bama in a New Year's Six bowl. And it's so awesome for them. I think it's just going to be a great game. I love Deuce Vaughn. I love their quarterback. They just beat TCU. They can score points. Bama can score points. Love the over. And this is just a classic noon on New Year's Eve. Bet the over. It didn't matter which two teams were playing. I was betting this over either way. And last but not least, Utah. I hate Penn State. I think Utah's pretty good. Cam Rising, the quarterback, fun to watch. They were down big against USC early in the Pac-12 championship game, and they fought back. A very good team. Penn State didn't really impress me this year. The teams that Utah beat, the teams that Utah had to play, I think overall a little bit better than Penn State. Utah is going to get up for this game. 34-36. I got to go 4-1 to go above 500. 3-2, I'll be a game under 500. And at that point, I'll record an emergency podcast by myself with 2 picks, in the national championship game for me to get to 500. So that's where we're at, and that's that's where we're going. We're feeling good about it, and that's all that matters. We're feeling
First
good
of
about
all,
it.
fantastic job getting through the 5 games. Second of all, we would not
Thank
leave
you.
you hanging. We would give you the opportunity to go above 500. Third of all, John, Kyle, the only one I love out of all of those is the Alabama over. Did you guys see one? Did you guys see one that you really liked also?
I like UCLA -5.5. I like that one a lot. I'm with them. I don't think Pitt's very good. And I think UCLA can run that one up.
Yeah, the ACC stinks.
Yeah.
Stinks.
They were struggling.
I'm on USC +2.5. Notre Dame is no good, overrated, and USC has had a really strong into their season, so I like that pick.
Penn State Utah is tricky to me because I feel like Penn State is your rank count going to feel good about it?
I don't know, so. Austin. Ask me on Tuesday, January 3rd.
I feel like the FS 9.5 points is a lot.
A lot
Richie.
of points.
That's a lot of points for Oklahoma. And then I feel like you're very emotional with the Utah Penn State. I mean, the first thing you said was that you don't like Penn State. Like, that's very hard to bet and to trust, an expert when they come out and they immediately say that they do not like this certain team. That's why they're betting Utah.
When we were enjoying the coffee that we had, hold on, 4th and goal, ECU. No one spoil it for me because I'm delayed. Why do we run these? I said don't spoil it for me.
Oh, sorry.
Did we have this conversation about the gaggle of reasons I hate Penn State? There's about 12.
No.
Top of the list being his ex-girlfriend. Let's not go there, and let's keep it kosher. Hey, Richie, why did you get kicked out of the living room with the Christmas tree and everything? Why are you in your office tonight?
Oh, I'm in my office because my wife works a part-time job, and she's going to walk in that door at any moment, and the dog is going to go bananas. And the last thing we want is my blind dog running around the living room, my wife coming in, talking to the blind dog while we're having these conversations. So I've been relegated to the office. We're doing some house remodeling. I don't know if you could say remodeling. We're doing some maneuvering. So I think this is going to be the office is going to be my permanent home for 2023.
You're killing it in basketball. And I'm hoping you get above 500 in football. John, can Alabama score 56 points by themselves against Kansas State? And why is Notre Dame top 10 again this year? And it's not your girlfriend, your wife. Sorry, Richie.
As I told former Liberty head coach Hugh Freeze, I only focus on Liberty, so I don't know.
Oh, man. That was the most stone cold answer I heard all year. Freeze asked John how do we report these injuries at other schools? How does this work at other schools, John? And John said, straight up, stone cold, the best moment he's had in a Sea of Reds history. He said, I don't know, Coach Freeze. I only focus on Liberty. That was amazing.
Did you feel pretty good after that? I mean, were you like?
Yes, he did.
He gave you a little,
especially how the last few weeks have gone. I feel really good about it now.
Yeah.
John, that's your Bill Belichick. We're on Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati.
I only cover Liberty. That's I think was the exact quote is, I only cover Liberty. And
we need it on a shirt. I feel like 3 times a week I just give you shirt ideas. I'm like, put it on a shirt. I'm probably the only one that would buy the shirt, but I always have like good shirt ideas. If you feel like I only cover Liberty, a sea of red.
That's great. Speaking of press conferences, John, can we get a mic for you guys asking questions? I get so frustrated listening to the coaches talk, and I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about because I can't hear what question was asked. Can we get that done? Do you have enough pool to get that to happen?
Yeah, I'll talk to Ty Wetmore. And one thing that I noticed with Coach Chadwell, Coach Freeze was always real good at like almost repeating the question. So you could almost always tell what the question was. Coach Chadwell, at least in his first couple of press conferences, he just goes right in and use all the pronouns. He just says, yeah, him, he's a good guy. And he doesn't go back and repeat the guys' names that you're asking about. So it was really hard to follow along. And I'll mention something to Todd and see if we can get stuff squared away next time.
All right. We're gonna
a couple things to throw into Liberty Athletics. I put it in my blog that I don't know if John ever approved it. It's been sitting in drafts all day, I think.
Tomorrow.
Perfect. So spoiler alert. Can we get the fight song on Spotify? 2, can someone tell us the lyrics to the alma mater? We were sitting at the we're sitting at the pep rally and they're playing the alma mater and everyone's just standing around looking at each other. Chad's yelling at people from Toledo. And like in the middle of it, the band's like, LU, like, and then just continued the song. Made no sense. No one knows what it is.
There wasn't even a press release about like, hey, we have a new it's not a fight song. What is it? What is
It's
it
the
called?
alma mater.
Alma mater.
Okay,
End of the
so we have a
song.
new
Arms
alma
around
mater.
everyone.
Yeah. We're all gonna link arms and sway back and forth and sing it. We didn't even get a press release. The Akron game, when I went to it, I was so confused when like the guy started to kind of run down to like high five everybody, and then the players like stopped. The cheerleaders were linked in arms, swaying back and forth. I was like, "What is going on?" And then I was so confused.
How about we get the lyrics from Liberty Athletics, and I'll get it to you, Richie, in your next blog. You put it in there.
I spent
and then we can sing it. We can sing it on the next podcast.
Guys.
Together, we'll sing it.
We're not talking about the alma mater anymore on this podcast. This might be my last podcast hosting for football, and what we need to get to the hard hitting stuff, not the alma mater. One last question for everybody in here. John, Richie, Kyle, we'll go in that order. John, let's talk about Conference USA. How excited are you? What are your thoughts about the schedule and what Conference USA is going to look like next year and our strength of schedule with conference play? How excited are you to follow conference standings, possibly host a conference championship game, Conference USA? John, you go first, Richie, and then Kyle.
It really feels like we're going into an entirely new era. Yeah, you have a new head coach, but going into Conference USA and what this next year and the next few years is going to bring is really exciting. I can't wait to get into it. Follow conference standings. That's something we've missed out on the last 4 years as an independent, and it's something as we're talking about basketball season and conference play starting up on Thursday night that's a lot of fun to kind of follow the conference standings all year and to watch other games and pull against teams to help your case out in the standings. So I can't wait to do that in football, and even more so to be able to do it with a really good team, really good football team at the FBS level, competing not just for bowl games. I think, Kyle touched on that earlier is, the last 2 years in November, we've lost 3 straight games in the regular season, and this year was 4 straight, including the bowl game. But if we have that carrot dangling out in front of our team and our players to, stay in the fight for a conference championship, stay in the fight to host a conference championship game, then hopefully that'll push us over the hump. And you talked about, Chad, the being able to host a conference championship game. I think that's something that we forget about a lot is, think how much fun that'll be to be able to play, that Thanksgiving weekend or the weekend after championship weekend, against the Western Kentucky or whoever it may be at Williams Stadium with a trip to, maybe a New Year's Six bowl game or a CFP on the line here in a few years. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think Coach Chadwell is a perfect guy to kind of continue taking us to that next level.
Richie, thoughts on Conference USA, being in a conference standings, all of that? What do you got?
I think unless you're Notre Dame, being an independent sucks. Being in a conference legitimizes the program. It legitimizes everything that you are trying to do. Like John said, there's that carrot. There's a reason to play all of those games. When we, clinched that bowl game spot, what did we have left? We weren't competing for a New Year's Six bowl. This will force us to keep playing, keep that high intensity up throughout November. We're also going to get to watch other games and have a rooted interest. Now it's like, watch Liberty. What else do you need to watch? But
Bingo.
We're going to go, all right, we need Western Kentucky to lose this game right now. We're now watching things from a different perspective with a different set of eyeballs. So I just think it's going to be it's also going to feel good to be part of a community, feel good to be part of the Conference USA home. Having these games on ESPN on a weeknight, like to have everyone looking at that, before the season starts, conference championship futures, everything about it just legitimizes the program and allows us to have something to play for on top of just, all right, we're going to go win some random bowl game, but to have that opportunity to raise a banner that says conference champions, to have the flags of all the other Conference USA schools out, so like on the outside of our stadium. So I'm super excited for it. I didn't care which conference. I was always anti-independent, and I'm glad it's happening.
Nailed it. Richie, love that take. Kyle, what's your thoughts? Conference USA, conference championship, automatic berth into the new expanded college football playoff. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, I think about like, when I played and being in the Big South, having a conference rival, like that was huge and that was really fun to be a part of. So who is that going to be in Conference USA? Is it going to be Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State? Is it going to be FIU? Like, what team is it going to be? We may find out next year. Like the first time we get chippy with a team and start shoving back and forth. Like, all right, or do we now have beat Louisiana Tech shirts because we hate their guts? And I think
beat UTEP.
Beat UTEP. That's right. But I think it's going to be really fun to have conference rivals. I also think it's going to be fun, and I think that there's going to be a lot of Liberty fans and. Because, I mean, this conference spreads all over. You got New Mexico State, you got the two schools in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky. So, I mean, it really has the entire, southeast area all the way over to New Mexico. And those midweek games are going to be fun. But I think, like everybody said, the conference championship, the rival, I mean, it's going to be a really, really cool thing for our guys to have something to play for. It's really hard to play for just a bowl appearance because that's really the only thing that you're trying to play for as an independent. So to be able to play for a conference championship, I mean, that's big. That's a really huge, that's big motivation. And then, to become one of the top group of 5 schools, you have to win constantly in your conference. And I think that we have the opportunity to do that year in and year out. We're talking, back to back. I mean, let's just win conference championships over and over and over again, put a ton of banners up, and then make a conference like the ACC have to bring us in because we've just dominated in a group of 5 conference for the last, 6 years. So I'm stoked about it.
All right. You just said ACC. Right? Or did you say AAC or ACC?
I said it.
Okay. Well, I agree with all of you guys and think that the conference is going to be so much fun. And, look no further than conference basketball. We're in the ASUN, and I am studying like who's going to win the ASUN and all of that. So it's a lot of fun as a fan. All right. Let's get to final thoughts here. Just want to talk about John. Any final thoughts here with Conference USA 2022 football season? Head coach Hugh Freeze leaving for Auburn, getting Jamie Chadwell to lead the program. What's your overall thoughts on the football program right now and where we're headed and just the excitement around the program? We'll go John, Richie, Kyle, just like we just did.
No, I'm really excited, just like I talked about. I can't wait to see this staff Coach Chadwell puts together, and I'm sure we'll have that finalized here in the next week or two. And looking forward to see who all those guys are and get to meet them and know some of them and their families a little bit. And looking forward to see what this roster looks like next year. There's still a lot of unknowns, a lot of question marks. Who's going to be the Liberty quarterback next year? And will it be a, rotating door there with 3 guys getting a start like it was this year? I don't think that'll be the case, but, injuries had something to do with that this year. But I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to Coach Chadwell and the new era of Liberty football and hopefully getting able to play a conference championship at home and hoist some banners here as we move into Conference USA.
Richie, what do you got?
I think it's been a great season. Obviously, some highs, some lows, but overall, I think we'll look back at the positives of the school year, not the school year, of this football season. Arkansas and the BYU wins. Excited for 23. I think this is a new era. I think there's a different vibe around the program, and I think that while Hugh Freeze and Jamie Chadwell have different paths to get to, I guess, the college football playoffs or winning a conference championship, the paths are different. Same destination, different paths, and I think Liberty fans are going to be excited about this, about what's coming. I saw Turtles comment away games. My goal is to go to La Tech. I got a buddy who's a big La Tech fan, so if I can go to a La Tech game in 23, that would be the goal. But really just looking, I'm not looking too far ahead, just, enjoying the filling out the roster, the transfer portal, finalizing the coaching roster, spring ball, and, getting a schedule from there. And basketball and baseball still to come, but it's been an awesome year getting involved with everyone and with all of you, and appreciate this and can't wait for next year.
Man, Richie, you're gonna make me cry. That was very touching. No, yeah. Likewise to everybody. Very thankful for this year. It was fun coming on. Chad just texted me being like, "Hey, would you mind jumping on the podcast?" To being a weekly regular, even doing a pod from the back alleyway after a men's league softball game. So it's been a good year. I'm very excited about next year. Is super excited about Coach Chadwell, the staff that he brings in, the players that he brings in, hoping that we don't lose anybody else to the transfer portal. We continue to build the program, win a bunch of conference championships, and just continue to progress. So super excited, excited to move the attention now to the basketball team and watching those guys, and also shout out to our compadres who do the basketball podcast. Make sure you guys tune in and listen to them. But very thankful for all of you guys in this podcast and everything, John, you do for a Sea of Red, and excited to keep it going and to continue to make this thing bigger and better every single year.
No, appreciate that, Kyle. Appreciate you coming on. Richie, you as well. It's been a lot of fun, and Chad as well for leading this ship here on the podcast. But Chad, we got one final question for you as we sign off. Did Liberty upgrade its coaching staff right here with the coaching change? Was it an upgrade for Liberty?
Oh, and you're going to put me on the big screen. Thank you, Nick Kirby, for that. Was it an upgrade? Let's talk about this for just a second. And let's just say that what Hugh Freeze did for the football team, and not only the football team, going to 4 straight bowl games. Thank you, Hugh Freeze, for that. What he did for our program in terms of national exposure. He went on to Feinbaum 2 or 3 times. He went on to Sports Center at least 2 or 3 times. And he was just straight up the man in terms of in getting us national exposure. 200 and some thousand followers on Twitter that he constantly gave us love for. He retweeted me so many times that I can't even count. And my personal account, every time Hugh Freeze would retweet me, I'd get like 15, 20 new followers. Did we upgrade? I don't know. My initial response, John, honestly, is no. We didn't upgrade. It was I'm gonna honestly get me an arm sleeve like Malik had that said God's plan. And I think it was just perfect timing. What we needed was Freeze for 4 years. His straight up promotional marketing, advertising, and just straight up, national promotion. That's what he gave us. I think Coastal just scored another touchdown. No.
ECU
scored another touchdown. We're going
just
over.
Need one more point. It's not there yet.
But yes, did we upgrade? I don't know. I think Hugh was perfect for 4 seasons. And what we're about to experience with Chadwell in the new era is going to, I don't know if it's upgrade or just be perfect timing.
What I'll say, and just to kind of save you a little bit there, Chad, but what I'll say is I think Hugh Freeze was the perfect coach for Liberty at the perfect time. He was great for the fan base, and what you kind of said, he was, kind of rallied us all together and pushed us forward. He kind of set this program up on a level for it to be able to compete at a Power 5 level with Power 5 resources. That's not something that Chadwell has experience with. But at the same time, that can be true. And I think also that, I'm hopeful that Coach Chadwell is also the perfect coach for Liberty at the perfect time as we move forward into Conference USA.
Yep, exactly. I think it's just timing is everything. And what Freeze did for 4 years will not be replicated, will not be underappreciated. And what Chadwell is about to do also could not be replicated and will not be unappreciated. We're all Flames for life. Doesn't matter if you're a Freeze guy, if you're a Chadwell guy, you are a Liberty guy, and that's 100% for sure. My final thoughts on the season are: I'm not disappointed. I think BYU, Arkansas, fantastic wins. Bowl game. It was so much fun seeing all of you guys. We're getting to a bowl game for our fourth straight year. It worked out well. Freeze got his chance out at Auburn. I'm honestly, guys, I'm 100% pulling for him. If he's playing against Nick Saban, I want to see Freeze win the game, and that's how it goes. All right, we've given you guys all your final thoughts. This is my final thoughts. Nick, if you want to put me on the big screen and exit all those guys out of here, this is what we're going to say is Liberty football. If you can just imagine 5 years ago where we were with Liberty football, and then imagine that, hey, our goal now is to be ranked in the top 25 and to be in the college football playoff. It's amazing. And this ride has been so much fun. With Richie and Kyle and John and everybody else that's been a part of Liberty Twitter, Liberty following a Sea of Red. Guys, we're headed there. What we have in front of us and what we've experienced so far, fans of Alabama, USC, you name the top programs in the country, would pay huge money to be a part of. And what we've been able to experience as a fan base is unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. We went from FCS, not making the FCS playoffs, to hoping that we're making the college football playoff in the next 3 or 4 years with Coach Chadwell. This rise has been phenomenal. Shout out Ian McCall. Shout out every single person that's been involved in this. What a ride. What an experience we've all had. We just lost one of our best coaches to Auburn, who had a top 16 recruiting class and is looking to be a top 10. Guys, where we've come from to where we are is phenomenal. And I am so excited to be a part of this ride with all of you. Thank you all for commenting all season long. We're just reading comments on YouTube. It's phenomenal. Been fun. It's time to flip the page, turn the page. Thursday night, basketball. Let's go. Bellarmine. Then we got Lipscomb, and then we got Jacksonville State. If you can't get excited about a week full of hoops with those 3 teams, the revenge tour is what we're calling it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So from all of us at seaofred.com, John, thank you for giving us this platform. Kyle, thank you for joining us. Richie, thank you for everything this year. Kyle and Richie are looking forward to hosting the podcast next season, and I'm looking forward to being part of that in terms of just passing on the torch, and it's been a lot of fun. So thank you guys for joining along, and this Rise With Us mantra that Ian established 2 or 3 years ago, it's real. And are you going to rise with us and be a part of this trajectory and this tremendous rise? So, hey, cheers. I see you, Christian. Thank you very much, CT. Cheers. Everybody raise your glass of Liberty Kool-Aid, and we're off to a phenomenal 2022 season. Where we were to where we are, no question. We're one of the fastest rising programs in all of FBS. And we're looking forward to continuing that. And with that, looking forward to Thursday night. Let's get it. Let's beat Bellarmine. What do you say, producer Nick? beat Bellarmine. Let's get it.